What's going on, guys? It is Shmeet back here with another video because we have to talk about the play-in game. Sorry, I've been hesitant about the uploads. Well, not really hesitant. I've just been unavailable to upload because I've been moving back home. I'm renovating. I'm going to be soon renovating this space into a more desirable video-making center. That's what I'm going to call it. But today we're going to have a little preview about the Hornets versus Pacers. We lost 5 straight. We were the 4th seed. And now we're all the way down to the 10 seed. I did see it gives us better odds for the draft or whatever. But I was really excited to be an 8 seed because that's what I have been advertising on my channel, and that's what it was looking like until we lost to the Wizards and giving up a pretty sizable lead. We had a good first quarter and third quarter, I believe, and then we just shit the bed in the fourth quarter. So. With that past us, we have to talk about the play-in game because it's the Pacers who have had a kind of disappointing season. I expected them to be more of a playoff team than they were, and they just haven't been as expected. Obviously, they've had injuries. Miles Turner is going to be out for this play-in game. It's unclear if I believe Malcolm Brogdon will be back for it. Who was their bubble superstar last year? T.J. Warren, he's out. So they're a pretty banged-up team throughout the year. They have beef with their coach, which is pretty well-known around the NBA. And we're playing them. And I would rather play them than the Wizards if the Wizards were the 9 seed and we were the 10 seed. But basically, we have to win 2 games, and they have to just win 1, which is a big disadvantage because it's like... that format is I get that we're the 10 seed and it makes sense, but that it's just a big disadvantage for us. So first thing I want to do is talk about the matchups that are going on for this play-in game. Actually, before that, I want to talk about the other play-in games. The Warriors-Lakers will be a great play-in game. Celtics versus Wizards. The Wizards, I believe, have the better hand in that, even though they have to win 2 games and the Celtics only have to win 1. Who's the other one? Spurs versus Grizzlies. That's okay. And and then we have this one. So the matchups here are kind of interesting. Different play styles across the board for many of these positions. So the point guard position, obviously we have LaMelo Ball versus Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon, former Bucks player. He got paid. The Bucks couldn't really pay for him like that, so he went to the Pacers. He's been probably the most efficient guy in the league since he's been in the league. I know he hasn't been like the number 1 efficient player, but the consistency to be efficient from the rookie, he's obviously the rookie of the year, being efficient as a rookie into his 4th season, I think. He's an older rookie. He spent 4 years in college, so it's not like he's inexperienced. He's had playoff performances. He hasn't been too good in the playoffs, but this is a play-in, so basically not really the playoffs. But regardless, super efficient guy, very defensive-minded. And I think that's the first thing that we're going to see with a lot of their guys as I go into their bench later in this video, that they're a very good defensive team. And Malcolm Brogdon kind of anchors that backcourt with Karis LeVert. And it's going to be interesting for LaMelo being in it's not really a playoff environment, but it's a play-in environment, I guess, and being against a really good defensive-minded point guard guarding you the entire game. And obviously Brogdon's going to have more minutes on LaMelo because it's basically the playoffs, and they want to win, obviously. So as we transition into the shooting guard, I was going to say small forward, I don't know why. The shooting guard, we have our MVP of the season for the Hornets, at least. The Hornets MVP, Terry Rozier against Karis LeVert. Another interesting matchup. I think they complement each other well as a matchup. Karis LeVert is not known for his defense, but he does, he can play it if he wants to. And that's probably the same with Terry Rozier. They're very streaky. Karis LeVert can either have a 9-point game or go off for 35. It's really no telling. I hope he doesn't go off for 35 against us, but that's another interesting matchup. I think that's a little bit of a stalemate, though. Obviously, Terry Rozier is a little bit smaller than Karis LeVert is, but I think that's a good matchup. It's not really heavily favored in any way, as well as the point guard matchup with LaMelo Ball and Malcolm Brogdon isn't really favored in any other way. And then we go into the small forward. This is where it gets interesting because I don't really know what our lineup is going to be. I'll probably find out tomorrow, as every other Hornets fan will find out tomorrow, if we're going to try the small ball lineup again or if we're going to actually play one of our big men. But I'm going to say we're going to play the big man just because of the man in the middle for the Pacers. But as I go into the small forward, we have Miles Bridges, obviously. Probably our most improved player, or my most improved player pick for the Hornets this year. Versus Edmund Sumner. I don't really know who Edmund Sumner is. I think he's a solid player. I don't know if he's a starter in this league, but I think Miles Bridges has the athleticism, has the shooting ability over Sumner. I'm guessing Sumner is a defensive guy. I don't know much about him. I think that's another stalemate. I think we even have the slight edge on that. And then this is where it gets kind of interesting, because we have a player that was super popular in college, in Doug McDermott. His first few years in the league with the Bulls, and I think the Thunder, haven't been amazing at all. He hasn't been this crazy good NBA role player at all. And then with the Pacers, it's kind of different. It's always been known that he can really shoot. And then he can also do things off the dribble now. He can defend. And versus P.J. Washington, it's going to be interesting because most power forwards, I mean, it's transitioned into a three-point shooting league, but I don't think P.J. Washington has guarded most power forwards that can shoot like Doug McDermott can. And that's going to be another interesting matchup. I don't know. Like that I feel like P.J. Washington can be exposed a little bit by Doug, by McDermott. In that power forward position, and just spread the defense out. It's going to be interesting. And then finally we have Sabonis, the man in the middle, which is going to be the most, like, he's going to kill us. That's the bottom line. And whoever we put on him, I would like to do small ball a little bit with PJ Washington guarding him. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to say Bismack against Sabonis. Whoever we put on him, it's going to be a nightmare. I looked it up. His season averages versus the Hornets are 17 points, 7 assists, 10 rebounds, 50% from 3, and 63% field goal percentage. That is insane stats, and I think it will continue going into this play-in game. And I don't really know our game plan on how to stop him. I think you try to stop him as much as you can, but stop the supporting cast instead, and just let him get his points, and then maybe stop, a Malcolm Brogdon, a Karis LeVert, some guys off the bench maybe. But you're not going to stop Sabonis, especially since we don't have a center that can actually defend. Sabonis sometimes gets a few blocks a game, sometimes slides defensively. Cody Zeller is a nightmare defensively, and PJ Washington's small. He's 6'8". Sabonis is 6'10", 6'11". So it's a big mismatch, and I think that's going to be the defining factor. If Sabonis doesn't have a good game, maybe we win it, and if he has a good game, I think we lose it. So I think Sabonis is one of the key factors going into this play-in game. But another thing that we have to do as a Hornet franchise, like everybody from one man to whoever plays the last role on the bench, we have to win their turnover battle. And you might think turnovers, that's the most weird stat that you can come up for this video. I looked back on the April 2nd game where we blew them out by I think 20, maybe 30. They had the big point of that game was, and the big the big thing on how we stop them is creating turnovers. And then they had 20 turnovers in that game, and we only had 10. So if we can win over that turnover battle, it gets us out in transition, which we love to do. We're a great transition team. We have LaMelo. You've seen all the highlight passes that he can do. And if I want to talk about the Pacers bench versus the Hornets bench, this is another interesting point, because there's a lot of people that don't know who Oshae Brissett is. Neither did I before researching him a little bit. But the last couple games that he's played, this man has gone off. He had 31 points last game. I don't know where he came from. I think he was undrafted or drafted. I don't know which one, in 2019. And he has been really solid for them. He started last game. I'm pretty sure he's going to come off the bench. So he's a person that is kind of a Malik Monk type, where he can just be streaky and he can just shoot the ball. And that's what I took away from Oshae Brissett. Then we have T.J. McConnell, who is kind of like the Martin twins. They're just streaky. They're not really streaky, but they can they can steal the ball. They can maybe block a shot. They're really pesky, is the bottom line with T.J. McConnell. So that's another player off the bench. He had that crazy 20 steals game. Am I mistaken? I think he had a triple-double with steals this game. And then we have Justin Holiday, who has just done a little bit of everything. So it's going to be interesting how we match up with them in the play-in series. I don't know how confident you can be as a Hornets fan in this play-in series. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. If you like these videos, subscribe, like, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys later.